Number 15 UCF going up against number 6 Baylor. Both squads sit at 11-1. Total offense is a little lopsided. Baylor coming in at number 1, UCF though at number 45. But on the defensive side, it looks a little more even. We got number 19 in total defense and then Baylor at number 17. So to break down this New Year's Day matchup, let's bring in the voice of the Knights, Marc Daniels, and the man that covers Baylor for Sic'em Sports, Kevin Lonnquist. Guys, as you look back at these two programs and how far they've come, it's pretty remarkable. Marc, I'll start with you. UCF was part of a major conference realignment shift this season. The Knights also knocked off an undefeated Louisville team. Can you make an argument for why UCF have come further as a program?
Well, 10 years ago, UCF was playing in the MAC, and no disrespect to the MAC, they needed a conference for scheduling as they made the transition to Division I. And UCF's the youngest program as far as getting to a BCS Bowl. They didn't become Division I until 1996 and then competed well in Conference USA. Part of the conference realignment craze that took place and landed in what became the American and had a great season there. So from where UCF was and where they are now and still building, it's a great accomplishment in the last decade when, there were very few bowls to play for. Now UCF in the final season of the BCS got a chance to play for a BCS bid, earned it. So it's a great accomplishment to take a look back where they were 10 years ago to now have a chance to be ranked in the top 20 and, playing a bowl game like this against a very good Baylor football team.
In Baylor's situation, they joined the Big 12 in 1996 when the Southwest Conference folded. And through the first 14 seasons of its conference existence, the Bears had only won a total of 3, or I should say maxed out at 3 wins in any conference season. There were a lot of winless seasons, 1-win seasons mixed in there as well. So they were really on the bottom looking up. In the last 5-6 years under Art Browse, the whole perception of the thing has changed as far as this program's move to the upper echelon of the conference is concerned. Number one, they're obviously conference champions for the first time since 1980, outright conference champions. Number two, over the last 4 years, they are 5-3 against Texas and Oklahoma. And number three, over the last 4 or 5 years, this university, along with some very high dollar donors, have contributed to more than $325 million through the program's growth through facilities, new indoor practice facility, as well as a new nutrition center that's going to be built on campus very, very soon. And of course, you have the $260 million stadium, which will be opening up next year.
To add to your point, Kevin, before Art Briles took over for the program, only had one 10-plus win season. Briles already has 2 under his belt. Let's get into this Fiesta Bowl now, guys. Kevin, I'm going to you first. Is there an under-the-radar difference maker for the Bears in this game?
Well, one of the linebackers for this team, his name is Eddie Lackey. He's a junior college transfer out of California. He's a senior this year. He's really been kind of a glue guy for this defense. Has a pick 6 for a touchdown against TCU. Had a couple of touchdowns on defense last year. He's a guy who really understands his role very well, moves very, very well laterally, is usually in the right pursuit angles. He led the team in tackles this year, was among the team leaders as far as sacks and tackles for losses were concerned. So if he's very active against the Golden Knights, I think Baylor's defense will be in a pretty good position to pull off the victory. Then the other thing to let you know about is that their deep play wide receiver, Tevin Reese, who missed the last 5 games of the regular season with a dislocated wrist. He had surgery. He got the brace off, or I should say the cast off last week, is going to be wearing a brace in it. But his presence with this offense and the deep play capability that he has really should change the dynamics of how Baylor will run its offense.
Marc, you're up now. We know all about quarterback Blake Bortles, but how can his weapons give the Knights the edge?
Well, Blake's a great quarterback, but no quarterback does it by himself. UCF's offensive line's been outstanding all season long, and they played Louisville this year. Louisville led the nation in sacks and tackles for a loss. Their defensive ends were shut out, had no tackles for a loss, no sacks in that game. But Blake's surrounded by skilled players behind him. Storm Johnson ran for 1,000 yards. He's a former University of Miami player that now in his second season at UCF has really developed. William Stanback is a true freshman running back that really has done a great job coming in and giving UCF a different look back there. And plenty of wide receivers. One thing about both the state of Texas and Florida, there's no shortage of speed and talented guys that can catch the ball. And UCF has an arsenal of wide receivers. They rotate 5 guys in, and Blake feels really comfortable regardless of who he has out there. So the Knights have some big play potential. Guys like Rennell Hall, J.J. Wharton, who made the big catch at Temple that got so much play. And then Rashad Perriman, Brett's son, who's also a big, tall receiver that helps UCF's offense give Blake Bortles a number of weapons. So there's a lot of guys that can help Blake be successful, and they'll need that against a really good Baylor defense.
Looking forward to this matchup. Kevin Lonnquist and Marc Daniels. Guys, thanks so much for the time. Happy holidays.
Same to you.